Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we go racing at one of my favorite tracks on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule, Martinsville Speedway, known as the Paperclip. Very excited for this racetrack in itself, but I can tell you right now, this is certainly, maybe based off the title, one of the most interesting episodes so far of this series, as a lot of things happen that we will have to dive into and dissect later in this episode here. Now, as you see the point standing, someone asked if I could show all of them, and you can see that there's actually part-time drivers in the Cup Series like Ty Dillon and Austin Cindric, so not everybody makes every single start, which is actually a nice little feature added to this game. We come through into a practice here for the Blue Emu 500 here, and I didn't know exactly what to expect here. I hadn't really done Martinsville legitimately yet in this game. I had done a lap or two very early on before the patches even came out, so like I said, didn't really know what to expect coming into this one. I was just hopeful that we were going to be able to have a strong run here now, as we've always had success at Martinsville, spanning back to NASCAR Heat 2, Heat 3, Heat 4, and of course Heat 5 as well. Obviously, Ignition being on a whole different physics and game engine and whatnot, you never know what to expect here at these tracks, and I was keeping the hopes high now as we were getting ready to make some laps here in our practice session. And it started off interestingly here as I'm coming through the garage area, and well, we already have our first glitch of the day. The AI can't even get out of the garage area at a very straightforward garage area now, so lovely to see that here as we come through to start our practice session. And I could immediately tell this is going to be a really interesting race for myself, because the car was driving so weird. I was again on a controller because the wheel is so terrible that I had to try my best to just hang in there on the controller, and it was tough enough here. Now I had to turn the steering assist to low and the traction control to low just to even have a fighting chance to do anything here. It is really frustrating when you actually have to turn assist on just to make the game playable, but right now there's nothing we can do about it. We just make the best of this odd situation we find ourselves in with NASCAR 21 Ignition. We come through into the qualifying session here, and usually on the short tracks we've been qualifying in like the mid-20s, I think, so I was kind of expecting the same thing once again here today in Martinsville. Now, as you see the little walk by of all the other competitors of ours there with Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Cody Ware, and just the Rick Ware Racing gang here. Now, as we get ready though to make our 2 laps here at Martinsville. Now, feels weird qualifying in this game because obviously NASCAR really hasn't had qualifying this year, so I'm not even used to seeing NASCAR qualifying anymore. I know they are qualifying for the championship race this weekend at Phoenix Raceway, so that'll be interesting to see. And they also have practice, but we came through to complete our 2 laps in qualifying here in Martinsville, and it would be pretty much where I expected, in the mid-20s. We were down in P23 here for the start of the Blue Emu 500, so we got a lot of work to do, to say the least, if we want to get ourselves up towards the front. But up on pole, it's going to be Joey Logano.
Welcome to the Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500. I'm Alex Hayden, and we're here today at the oldest track on the NASCAR calendar, Martinsville Speedway. We're expecting lots of beating and banging here today at this short, flat racetrack where tempers get heated and protecting your car is key. Let's head down to pit road as the drivers and teams make their final preparations. Who's going to be taking home that grandfather clock today?
All right, boys, one of my favorite tracks, so let's go have a good run tonight. There you hear myself on the radio here as we're getting ready to go green for the Blue Emu 500 here at Martinsville Speedway. It's going to be a long, grueling race, especially with this AI that we deal with on a episodely basis here now. As I was still excited here to get this thing underway now and hopefully work our way through the pack here now, as we know if we can just kind of make it to the long run, usually we can put up a good fight compared to the AI. So we'll see what happens here tonight in Martinsville now as we get ready to take the green flag. One thing I'm noticing in the night lighting is those pit signs really stand out. That is a nice touch there with the graphics of this game here as we though get ready to go green for Martinsville. Martinsville for the Blue Emu 500. We actually had a pace lap around the track, which was weird, but we got back underway here down into turn 1 behind that 42 of Ross Chastain. I got hit from Kurt Busch right off the bat into turn 1. He tried a bit of a bump and run on myself there, but we would keep control of the car here side by side with Kyle Larson. One of his, probably, if not his worst track on the Cup Series schedule for Larson is Martinsville Speedway, so a good opportunity for us to beat the Daytona 500 winner here today. Now, 125 laps around this racetrack. That's a lot of time here in Martinsville to make something happen, or for everything to potentially go wrong as well here now. As one thing I would like to see is I noticed with the latest patch that with the timing of these races, Motorsport Games put the timing closer to the end of the race, so you really don't get to see the true day or sunset to night transition, which is really disappointing when that was something they kind of hyped up a little bit for us. So something I would like to maybe see get changed. Give us a slider, make us allow to decide what the kind of time slider is going to be with the speed of it now as we come through though to lap 11. And at this point I was up in 22nd. You saw me making some passes on Kyle Larson, and after that everybody in front of me would drive away and I had just no speed at all, but I was able to just plant my car in front of everybody behind us because AI, they really do not like to pass you. So if you can just plant your car in the right line, you're pretty good. So that was just what I was trying to do for the majority of this episode here, for at least the first part of this race. And then by the time it came through to lap 25, a big mistake from myself right there. I clipped the wall on the exit at turn 4. It didn't damage the car, surprisingly, but everybody in front of us was now starting to run down lap traffic. As you can see, we're getting closer to that pack of cars now. So I knew that it was just a matter of time until we were going to be right up there, potentially gaining positions there, as I was starting to have a really tough time getting this car to slow down. And it was literally drifting through the center and exit of these corners. I don't know what it was, but it was driving so weird here in Martinsville on the controller now. As like I said though, we were running down lap traffic and they would just change everything. It would allow myself to start working my way through traffic. Christopher Bell was actually the best one at it. He drove by everybody. Kyle Larson and Kurt Busch, they were struggling, and so was Kevin Harvick, and we make the pass on Harvick. We now once again pass Kyle Larson down into turn 1 here, less than 100 laps to go already at the paperclip here for the Blue Emu 500. Now as we get just about clear some contact with that Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet of Kyle Larson, as we dive down into 3 and 4 up the inside of a lap driver as well of Anthony Alfredo in that 38, contact with him as well, but we get out in front. There was a bunch of smoke pouring out of my car for the basically remainder of this race, which is another glitch with this game. Of course, now is actually get a little bit too aggressive right there and dived up the inside of Kurt Busch, but fortunately it didn't turn into anything. We got past them, made it 3 wide with the 20 of Bell and the 42 of Chastain, got past them, and then you can just see, look at this, nobody can get through lap traffic. This is the exact same issue at Martinsville that NASCAR Heat has had, where the leaders cannot get through lap traffic to save their lives, and I'm over here just struggling with the handling of the car. I'm sliding all over the place, running into everybody there, including our former Heat Series rival of Logano, who punts us down into turn 1. Logano gives us the bumper. Surprisingly, I was not impressed. I said, I've worked so hard in the Heat Series to keep you away from being a rival, and we could never do it, so I decided to give him a big shove down into turn 3, and then we resolved that issue here as we would get back to the inside and just start making a whole lot of headway. And you can see right here, everybody on the outside has no chance. I'm going 3 wide down into turn 1, making some contact there with the 8 of Tyler Reddick now, as well as that 23 of Bubba Wallace, who's on the outside of that. And we just continue, though, going forwards. We were up inside of the top 10 now at this point here. So you can see, though, a bit of a mistake again into the entry of the corner. The car just, I don't know what it is. It just refuses to slow down. And then when it finally does, it just kicks the back end out. And then you just drift throughout the rest of the corners. So you got to be so careful at this track. And I mean, on this game in general here now, as we exit turn 4, you can barely see the turn 1 grandstand. It was so foggy for some reason here. As you see right there, you can barely see it now. As though we continue on our way, actually got hooked by the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. into the side of the 78. So I put myself up here on the outside of Michael McDowell as I try to find my way down to the inside, and then it just got a whole lot worse. Some more contact there, and then I turned down into the 9 of Elliott. That was 100% my fault. And pretty much every contact that was my fault except for the 47 of Stenhouse. There's Newman, actually goes spinning down into turn 1. No caution comes out. We keep it green and we continue on our way. We got back past the 9 of Chase Elliott and just worked our way through the lap traffic as efficiently as possible. And we were already running down another pack of lap cars. So now at the inside of that Ally Financial number 48 of Alex Bowen past him, and then we're going to go 3 wide with Alfredo, but the car kicks out, and we're going to go spinning into turn 3, collecting the 14 of Jason Briscoe, who goes crashing. I somehow don't damage the car, but it did that thing that's really weird on short tracks where the car just spins the tires on a straightaway and then turns to the right, and I had no idea what was coming there. I caught it, unfortunately, too late, and it got worse because Briscoe gets absolutely annihilated, goes up on his side, and then a few moments later, he comes down the track and everybody piles in, and the caution comes out for the first time ever in our NASCAR 21 Ignition career mode here in Martinsville. So basically, when cautions come out, the game just freezes in an instant, and then you decide if you want to pit or not. And if you do decide to pit, like which we are going to do right here, you just get teleported in an instant to the pit line just like that, and then they of course service your car. So a really weird caution system in this game that is just kind of kills the immersion a little bit, to say the least here now. But we would put 4 tires on, we would make some repairs to the car because it was pretty obvious. I'm sure we have put some damage to this thing as we have run into a lot of people here today, but we would get back underway here for the first restart ever in our series. And this is not me controlling the car, that was all AI. It was god awful here as we would get back underway. I didn't know if I was a lap down or not at this point, as the game doesn't tell you, so it was really awkward. Now as we have a huge crash down the back straightaway, the pace car is on the track, and it has just caused a massive pile up down into turn 3, and he gets out of the way acting like, oh, I was not here, nothing happened. Well, everybody would go piling in, and obviously it freezes right there because as soon as a caution comes out, the game freezes. So we come into the pit lane, or sorry, I stayed out as I didn't know if anybody pitted or not, and then we would get ready for another restart. What just happened? The pace car just crashed the field in NASCAR 21 Ignition. I was at a loss for words. At this point, I had no idea what caused it, and then it got worse because everybody's slowing down for no reason. Well, obviously, they should be slowing down there, but not that much. And the 48 just turns head on into the inside wall. The 4 is spinning, a caution comes out again. So all of a sudden, we've had a bunch of cautions here. I decided, well, let's bring it in and fix the car because we just obviously damaged it. So we come in, and now, well, we get back going for another restart. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. Am I on the lead lap or not? I don't really know. I'm in like 29th place, and the pace car's on the track again, and he causes another pile up. Cody Ware is in there. Everybody piles in, and the caution comes out again. The pace car just crashed the field 2 times here in Martinsville. We would get underway for another restart. I didn't pit, but we're going to take an opportunity right now to just talk about this real quick here and just let the gameplay roll. How does this happen? I don't know. It's so frustrating, and then the AI decided to come pit after the caution has come out, and everybody's hitting the brakes, but it's obvious why the cautions are so hard to get in this game, because they're so incredibly broken, which is also making it obvious why there's no stages in the game, because the cautions don't work. The cautions are the worst thing I've ever seen in a NASCAR game, I think, ever in my life. It's so bad. And I would get turned again, by the way. That one was actually my fault, but no caution came out, and I actually got it collected real quick and got back going, and somehow we didn't actually lose really anything from it. So I don't even know what to say. It's so frustrating. How do you have the pace car come out on the track in your game multiple times and cause, a 30 car pileup? It makes 0 sense. I don't know how it's happened. It's just completely unacceptable. Obviously, we are now 2 weeks just about into the release of this game, and we have the pace car coming onto the track and wrecking cars. Motorsport games, please get this stuff fixed. That's all I can ask for. It's so bad. I'm hopeful though, in like 2 years, maybe another year or 2, 3 years, we can look back on this series while we're playing the new NASCAR games and be like, remember how bad this was compared to what we have now? Who knows? I don't even know what to expect at this point, but we continue on with this race, and I was like at a loss for words at what was happening, and somehow we're still in the top 20. We just continue to push through. At the end of the day, we're going to continue to push through with this series and make the best of it with what we can, or what we have. So that's what I've always done, and that's what I'm going to continue to do here as we come through to lap 110. I did find out, I think I was 1 lap down at this point. I don't actually know how it happened. I think it might have been due to either the cautions or the pit lane, but I never went a lap down under green flag conditions, so I'm not sure how it actually happened. And like I said, the game doesn't tell you if you're a lap down or not, so I was just hoping for the best here as we were already closing in towards the top 10, but there was only 5 laps to go at this point here, so it was just trying to survive at this point. I had damaged every end of the car, every side of the car, every quarter panel, every fender. It was not looking good. It looked like I had done a whole race at Martinsville here. So I think our car, was fitting in pretty well here as I got hooked into the wall by the 42 of Ross Chastain, and that left the door open for Kyle Larson to go up the inside here as I get into the back of him on the exit of turn 4. At this point, you can see I definitely was a little bit frustrated. I wasn't afraid to just run into the back of someone at this point, and I had felt like I'd just done a race at Martinsville for once. We get back past the number 5, we get past the 42 of Chastain and past the 14 of Briscoe, who had got up on his side earlier in this episode here now, as he's going to put up a good fight on the exit of the corner. Actually, yes, we come through to the final lap here in Martinsville. Ryan Blaney for P11, Ryan Preece for P10. Doesn't look like we're going to get to either of them here as we exit turn 2. The car was driving, as you can tell, so bad at this point as I'm hitting the curbs, going up on the curbing here as we go down into turn 3 and 4 for the final time. What a race. The pace car cleaned out the field twice, and we exit turn 4 and we cross the line and finish in 12th place here in Martinsville Speedway. And after all of that, Kurt Busch and R. Stenhouse Jr. are your top 2. But I was just at a loss for words, and I honestly shocked that I was still able to finish 12th out of all of that. So I was impressed that we managed to get a subpar finish out of that at the same time here. So Kurt Busch locks himself now into the playoffs. There's 7 different winners already here. We have only had 1 repeat winner, and that's the 9 of Chase Elliott. So we got a lot of work to do, though, if we want to step up our game here. So obviously we should make the playoffs, no problem with that 1 win that we have. As always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. It was certainly an interesting episode, to say the least, and let me know what you thought about what we saw there happen on track, especially with the pace car. Of course, just want to say thank you to my Going Racing members, as well as they will be listed at the end of this episode. I really do appreciate your guys' support, and I'll see you guys in the next episode where we head off to Richmond Raceway, where hopefully we can have a way better product here than Martinsville Speedway. Have a great day, everybody.